Hello everyone, myself Khyati Vyas from JNP English Medium Saraswati Group of Education. Today I am conducting this session for grade 6 subject SS. We are dealing with revision sessions for your FA1 exams. In your FA1 exam, which chapters are included? Let's have a look of that. In history, you are having chapter number 1 introducing history and chapter number 2 earliest societies. In geography, chapter number 1 the earth in the solar system, and in civics chapter number 1 diversity. Altogether 4 chapters are included in your FA1 exam. Clear? Now, in today's session, we will have a recall session, or you can say revision sessions for all these chapters one by one. We will just have a brief highlights of each and every chapter. But as I have already told you, you can go through the worksheets given in the application and do your revision accordingly. Right? You're having your CW books, your worksheets, your chapter and worksheets. All these materials are important for your exam. So please learn them carefully. Now let's start revising these chapters one by one. First of all, let's take up the revision for your chapter number 1 in history, that is introducing history. In this chapter, we learned regarding the past of human beings. How do we learn about the past of the human beings or the early men? Learning about the past is known as history. History can be studied in 3 different periods. First one is prehistory. Then you have proto-history, and after that you have history. Prehistory is the time when there were no written records. After that, proto-history. Proto-history is a time when there were few written records, but not in writing. There were paintings and all, cave paintings and all. So we can get information from that. And lastly, we have history, in which we have complete written records. That is different, that the language they used to write about the history were quite different from the language that we use now. Some of the languages are decoded so we can get the information, but some languages are yet not decoded. So we do not understand what exactly is written in them. Then, what are the sources of history? As I told you, we get information about the past. So from which things do we get the information? So all the things from which we get the information regarding the life of the people in the past are called as sources of history. Sources of history may be archaeological sources, that is fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? The remains of the animals or plants or human beings that are being preserved in between the rocks for millions of years are called fossil fuels. If you have observed the movie Jurassic Park, the archaeologist, what did he find in between the rock? He found a nail of a dinosaur, right? Yes. So that is a fossil fuel. So there are archaeological sources. Then what else? You have monuments, means old buildings. They are called monuments. Then you have artifacts, means all the things that are made by the man in the past are called artifacts. For example, the utensils they used, the weapons or the tools they used. All these are called artifacts. Then you have inscriptions. Inscriptions means something that is written on a copper tablet, on a stone or on a pillar. All these are called inscriptions. Right? After that you are having coins. In previous time, kingdoms, they had their own coins. In that coin, they might have also imprinted, I am using the word imprinted, the name of the king, the extent of their kingdom, and these coins were also made of different metals. So by looking at the metal, you can understand whether the kingdom was very big or was it a smaller one. Right? Because if it is a very big kingdom and they were very rich, the coin might be of gold. Coins can also be of silver, copper, etc. Right? Yes. So coins also give us information regarding the past. Then you have literary sources. Means written records. They are literary sources. In literary sources, there are manuscripts, because in older times they did not have anything for printing. So everything, all the records were handwritten. So they are called manuscripts. These manuscripts may be on a branch or a bark of birch tree. So all these are called manuscripts. Then you have scripts and languages. Different languages were used based on the place where the script is written. The language gets changed. In North India the language was different, South India the language was different. So language was also different depending on which place the scripts are written. So they are also the written records or the literary records. Then we learn regarding time frame in history. This is something that you have also learned in your previous grade. That is the timeline. The period of the birth of Jesus Christ is very important. We consider that year as first year. And the period after the birth of Jesus is called Common Era, CE, Common Era or Era. And before the birth of Jesus Christ, the year go backward, and these are written as BCE, means before Common Era. So all these things we learned in our Histories chapter number 1, introducing history. Now main points to be remembered in this chapter are: history is the study of event, people and their way of life in the past. History is studied through various sources, correct? There are two kinds of historical sources. One is artifacts and other one is not artifacts, archaeological sources, and other one is literary sources. Which are the two sources of history? Archaeological sources and literary sources. Then you have archaeological sources include fossil remains, tools and implements, monuments, coins, pottery and written records like inscription. Literary sources are written records of the people in the past. So two types of sources are archaeological sources and literary sources. Just take care, the written inscriptions, they come under the heading of archaeological source. Okay, they are archaeological source. Then time in history is studied in BCE and CE. BCE is before Common Era and CE is common era, that is after the birth of Jesus Christ and before the birth of Jesus Christ. Geographical division influenced history and shaped the culture of a particular region. Based on the location of the place, the history of one particular group of person differ from the other particular group of people. Clear? So this we studied in our chapter number 1 of history. Next, talking about chapter number 2, that is earliest societies. In this chapter, we learned regarding the life of early human beings. Initially, early human being was hunter-gatherer. Since he had no aim for life, only survival was the aim. And to survive, he had to take food. Now, he did not know anything about cooking. So what he did? He ate whatever he got and gathered energy from that and nutrients for himself to survive. So he was called hunter-gatherer. Since he killed the animals for eating, he plucked the fruits, vegetables, roots, whatever he found for eating, and he survived. So he was called hunter-gatherer. Early humans were nomads, means he did not have a particular place to live in. He moved from one place to another. This movement was due to many reasons. Maybe scarcity of water, the water was over, so he had to travel to some other place just because of his need of water. Maybe the food is over, so now if he wants to eat food, if he wants more food, then he has to go to some other place where he can find the food easily. Maybe due to harsh weather that he was traveling from this place to that place or shifting from one place to another. So there are many reasons why he led a life of a nomad. Nomadic life is a life where there is no settlement. They kept on moving from one place to another. Then he used tools for hunting. So tools used for scavenging and hunting. There were many types of tools. And this tool making, it had two different techniques of making the tools. First one was stone on stone, means to hit one stone with the other stone just to sharpen the edges and bring it to the right shape. That is stone on stone technique. And the other technique was pressure flaking, means rubbing the stone in such a way with pressure that the flakes, extra flakes get discarded and the tools get ready. So these are the two techniques of making tools. Now since early men initially made all his tools using the stone, this period is called as Stone Age. Stone Age can be further divided into three parts, that is Paleolithic Age, Mesolithic Age and the Neolithic Age. In Paleolithic Age, early human used stone tools. He made stone tools, and we also learned regarding his habitation. There were three sites in which we can find the Paleolithic remains. Which are they? First one is the habitation site, where you can find the remains and get to know that in that particular site, early human, they only lived there. They were not working there. They were not making the tools there. They were only and only living there. Means that was the place where their houses were there. They did not have particular house, but they lived. Second site is the factory site. Now this site is a place where early humans made their tools. And the third one is habitation and factory site, or you can say habitation cum factory site. So here in these sites they lived and also made their tools in the same place. So these are the three types of sites which are related to Paleolithic age. Now tools in the Paleolithic age can be divided into three phases. First one is Lower Paleolithic, then Middle Paleolithic and the Upper Paleolithic. After that, Paleolithic way of life. What type of life did the Paleolithic men live? He had also discovered fire during the Paleolithic age. So that means he knew how to use fire. He used fire for cooking, to protect himself from wild animals and to keep himself warm. Then talking about Mesolithic age. In Mesolithic age, early man developed himself. There was a drastic development. The changes, and this changes was due to drastic development of grasslands. The climatic condition of the earth changed and the number of grasslands grew. It increased to a lot. And since the grasslands increased, the number of animals also increased. Then here in Mesolithic age, he started using microlith or small stone tools. The size of the tools got decreased, but their capacity was increased. After that, it is Neolithic age, and about Neolithic age we will continue in our next chapter. So this was all the information that you learned in our chapter number 2. Then coming to your geography chapter number 1, that is the earth in the solar system. Now in this chapter you learn regarding universe. What is a universe? So universe is nothing but collection of stars, planets, all these together is called universe. In universe there are many galaxies. In universe there are many galaxies. Our solar system belongs to the galaxy called the Milky Way or the Akashganga. We are forming the solar system with a sun and 8 planets. Now there are stars. Sun is also a star. Now there are some group of stars which form a particular pattern. They are called constellation. They are called constellation. Then sun. Sun is a hot ball of fire or hot gases. It is also a star, but it seems very big and we can feel the heat and light of it just because we are closer to this star. The rest of the stars are very far away from us and that is why they seem very small. So, talking about the planets. There are 8 planets revolving around the sun. They are revolving in their own orbit. Orbit is nothing but the path on which the planets are revolving around the sun. There are 8 planets, namely Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Now, each planet, they also have their moon. Planets show 2 types of movement. One is rotation, other one is revolution. Our planet Earth has only one moon, which is also our natural satellite. Earth is the only planet which is said to have existence of life. And existence of life is because of the features that support the existence of life. Which are the features? First one, moderate temperature. Earth is third planet after the sun. Since it is not too close nor too far from the sun, the temperature is moderate on the earth. If it is too close to sun, it will be too hot, and if it's too far, then it will be too cold. Second point is, earth has atmosphere. Atmosphere is nothing but a layer of air surrounding the earth, and this atmosphere protects us from the harmful rays of the sun. Next is presence of water. Water is very essential for any living thing to survive. So that is why it is also important. Earth's surface is made up of land and water, which is very important. Then we talked about satellites. Satellites, they are continuously rotating, revolving around the planets. Planets are revolving around sun, and satellites are revolving around planets. Now, Earth's satellite is Moon. Moon changes its phases time to time. It is due to the reflection of the sun that we can say Moon changes its phases. Because Moon also does not have its own heat or light. Moon reflects the light of the sun. And when the earth comes in between Moon and the sun, the Moon changes its phase. Only the part of the Moon on which the sun's light is reflecting can be seen, and the other part is dark, so we can say that only half of the Moon can be seen sometime, or even it keeps changing day to day. So these were the phases of the Moon. Ganymede is Jupiter's moon and Titan is Saturn's moon. Are also important points. Then we learned regarding asteroids, meteoroids, all these things. Comets, Halley's comets, it appears after every 76 years. Asteroids, as I told you, there is an asteroid belt, right? In between the asteroid belt is in between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. Asteroids are stone-like structure which are continuously moving round and round. So all these things we learned in this chapter. Next, talking about chapter number 1 in civics. It is regarding the diversity. As you have already known, what is diversity? Diversity is nothing but the changes in the way people are living. The changes. Now, diversity is a way of life. Every person is quite different from the other one. So this diversity is very important. We have to accept the diversity and move further. Then and then our life can become easier. We have to respect the diversity in between people. Now what kind of diversities do we have? Since India is called the land of diversity, because in India there are different languages, different cultures, different way of dressing, different food, everything differs. That is why India is called the land of diversity. In India we have linguistic diversity because the language changes from state to state, place to place. We have religious diversity, n number of religions are found in India. Diversity in food and festivals. The festivals are different. The way of celebrating festival is also different. Food items that we eat, it keeps changing from state to state. right? Then we have geographical and cultural diversity. Geographical diversity. In India, there are some mountain region, some coastal regions, some desert regions, some plains. So there are n number of landforms, right? And then we have learned regarding lingua franca. What is lingua franca? It comes under linguistic diversity. Yes, lingua franca is nothing but mixture of two languages give birth to a new language, that is called lingua franca. For example, as we discussed, the Persian language and Hindi language, they merged together and gave rise to Urdu, right? So that is lingua franca. Then we learned regarding unity in diversity. That is, though we are having so many variations in our country, still we are united. Still we are united, right? So that is unity in diversity. So this was all the revision of these 4 chapters. In your subjective and objective papers, objective paper is in the Google form, where you have to just tick on the right option, and it is my humble request for all the students to check the paper once you have completed it, and before that you will not click on the submit icon. You will not submit the paper until you have checked the paper once. So please check the paper once you have completely attempted it, and then click on the submit button. Right? In objective paper, first question is MCQ, that is fill in the blanks. 4 options are given. You have to click on the right one. Next is fill in the blanks. In that you are given hint box, and you have to select the correct answer from the hint box and click on the option. Then you are having true or false. Read the statement properly. Identify whether it is right or wrong. If it is right, click on true. If it is wrong, click on false. Then you have matched the following, and lastly answer in one word. Here also you are given 4 options, and you have to click on the right option. Talking about your subjective paper, first main question that carries 1 mark is name them. For example, if I ask you, this is the New Stone Age. So you have to write which is called the New Stone Age. In this way, 4 different questions are asked in name them, and you have to write the correct answer. Each right answer will give you 1 mark. After that, second main question is answer the following questions in brief. Here you have to write the answer in at least 2 to 3 sentences. Each correct answer will give you 2 marks. After that, main question 3 is do as directed. Here 2 questions are asked. Each right answer will give you 3 marks, and these are long answers. So make sure you learn them. And the 4th main question is drawing, figure. It can be any figure. So whichever related diagram you find in these 4 chapters, try to learn them. Okay, in your revision paper, the diagram might differ from your original paper. So you have to learn the diagram. This diagram will give you 4 marks. Clear? Okay. Chalo. I'm hoping everybody will do very good in your exams and score good marks. All the best for your exam. Bye. See you in the next session.